Well, hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Episode 9.
9. Mira nomás.
We're getting there.
We are.
Today we have lots of fun things to talk about.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, my trip was fun.
I love that
Well,
you
not in
went on
theory.
another trip.
I know. It's so bad.
I'm like, I took a trip down Central today.
Did you see? This is off topic completely,
What?
but my husband just talked about it. That they're getting rid of the Wells Fargo Bank. Somebody bought it, the building, the green building.
Are they?
Yes, so I don't think it's going to be green anymore.
Que la...
I know.
Who bought it?
I don't know, but they're supposed to make it like affordable housing or something, which I think is kind of lame, but...
How many?
And then I guess they're building 2 more buildings, and one of them's supposed to be the largest building in town. So that's kind of cool. We might actually get a skyline.
And what is it supposed to be?
I don't know yet. They haven't said. Yeah.
I need to find out. But so I went to Bob's today.
Oh, it's
yeah.
Central Bob.
You know.
She wants to clean that colon.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, girl, I accepted the heartburn today. I was like, you know what?
Sometimes it's worth it.
Sometimes. But tell me why there was a man and he was like butt-ass naked walking down Central. And I'm more upset because I didn't record him in time. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was with my friend Becca, my friend and coworker Becca. And so, of course, I was over there buried in Twitter. I'm sorry.
Anytime you're with Becca, you see all kinds of crazy stuff.
I know.
in
She's like my
town.
lucky charm.
Yeah, she's
I
the
know.
world star magnet.
Something, dude. And then she's like, oh my God, that man. And I was like, so I look up. And, dude, literally right in front of the Little Caesars. It was just like this vato, and he looked
Just
sad. He was
dick
having
flopping.
a rough day. Dude, never in all my years have I seen that in Albuquerque.
Yeah. I've seen like parts out, but never full.
No, he didn't have socks on, chones, dude, nothing. I'm like, he's really out here.
Tweaking hard.
You know what? He didn't look that
No?
bad. So I was
Oh,
all,
why else is he just roaming free?
I don't know, because, so you know how it's like, of that strip.
I
the
can't. I
last
have a
one
hard time
is-
going down Central when my kids are in the car.
I bet.
I like try not to go down Central.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you never know what you're going to see.
No, you really don't.
No.
You really don't. I was like, oh my God. So then Becca's
You're
like,
just
do you want
trying
me
to get your red chili.
Yeah. But he was right there in front of Little Caesars. And then there's like that alleyway. And then there's like that little apartment complex. So I think that's where he went in. But I'm like, sir, you made it all the way down this way.
You're just getting a 10. So I'm working on my 10.
He looked like
I don't like 10 lines.
he looked like he was sad though. It wasn't like the tweaker, and he was all like, you know, like he didn't seem
I don't
that
know.
bad.
I think he was just having a bad trip.
Bro, he was like walking with his head down. Like he was ashamed.
Maybe he was like trying to shower or something and somebody ran off with his clothes. And
Dude,
he
I don't
just
know. I don't know.
had to walk the flop.
But she's like, do you want me to flip a bitch? And I was like, I don't know. That's kind of
And it's so hard to do on Central now with the stupid art project.
Yeah.
Dumbest thing they ever did.
She's all, let's see. So we go through the drive-through real quick, come out.
It was not real quick. Bob
He was
takes
all
forever.
right. I know.
And he was gone. Nowhere to be
He
seen.
was gone.
Yeah.
And Becca was looking, and she's like, I'm pretty sure he just went down that way. And I'm like, no, I thought he was going to keep walking. She's like, no, dude, he turned off. I was like,
Well, you just got a member.
I know.
You remember?
Yeah. I was like, I want to get a good, that's like my goal, dude, for the rest of the year.
You know what I really want?
What?
That would have came in handy?
What?
I want the metas.
Stop.
Yes.
The little glasses?
Yes.
How much are they?
They're like $350, I think. I think if you want the transitions, they're closer to $4. Something like that. They're
That's
not
not
bad.
terrible,
No,
yeah.
they're really not bad.
Yeah.
So to lead into my trip.
Okay. Tell us how we're going to segue there.
Speaking of the metas, I almost bought some for the trip, for the
Okay.
concert, because, so I went on a trip again for another concert. I went to go see Empire of the Sun. So the Circle Odyssey, who is like the company that put on the show, and it's like, it's supposed to be like the Sphere, where it's an immersive experience. They have screens all the way around and on the roof.
Okay.
They didn't allow phones.
I saw that on your stories.
And so they made us put our phones in a pouch that locked. And then when we left, they unlocked it and we got our phone back. But so I was like, well, let me buy some Metas real quick.
Right away.
But then when I read the thing further, it said no smart glasses or anything.
How are they going to know?
Well, you can see it has.
Yeah, I guess.
But I probably should have at least tried. And if they made me lock up the glasses too, then then I'll do it. But I should have at least tried, because so their whole thing was, we don't want you on your phones. We want you present and in the experience, yada, yada.
Yada, yada.
They said, we're going to send you footage that we take. So we get inside the concert. The whole back wall is filled with huge cameramen. Like, I was like, oh, we're going to get some sick footage. Like,
HD.
Yeah, I was like, they had a huge camera. Even, like, there was a barricade between us and the stage. And they had, like, a camera that was, like, on a swivel thing that was going, like, back and forth, getting different angles.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this footage is going to be fire. Like, this is fine. I was okay with it. Fuck my phone. I'm present. Loving this. No. They sent us the most trash footage I've ever seen. Like, it was, and they were, like, 5-second clips, and I'm like, bro, it was so bad. And you can
Send
hear
me some.
I will. You can hear people singing and talking, like, not even it was horrible.
Did you pay for that?
No.
Okay.
It was just part of the
included.
That was them.
Okay.
That was like their apology for not allowing us to have our phones.
Okay, gotcha.
Which was bullshit.
Because I was wondering if it was like, an upgraded package deal of like, hey, pay X amount more and you'll get.
If I could have paid X amount more to have my phone, I would have did it. Because, so.
But did you enjoy it?
I did. I mean,
like that aside.
That aside, the concert was beautiful. Was
the experience better?
Without a phone?
No. Was it better than Vegas?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
No.
I didn't think it would be.
So, this is the funny part. So, this is me, and I feel like Seb just being maybe old. I don't know. But we were like, when we left.
Was it too loud?
No. We left, and I was like, it doesn't top the Sphere at all, not even close.
Well, because that bar's set real high.
Well,
I'm sorry, but
but like also, we had a seat. You're not in a crowd. And that was the bummer for me and him, but more like he was really like, I think he was annoyed with me because I wanted to be as close as possible because I'm so short and I want to see. And I even had I had these like hills that, I mean, they lifted me up quite a bit, but still I can't fucking see anything, especially, which will lead me into my next conversation, but for now.
Okay. All right. I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
I wanted to be as close as possible. I wanted to see, and I'm like, if I'm going out of my way to go to a concert to see people live, like, you want to see them, like, like this, Mm-hmm. And so I got us to where we were, like, there were 2 people in front of us from the stage. And I probably could have got closer, but I didn't want to be dick. So this leads me to concert etiquette.
Lead us in.
Because I have experienced this over and over and over in life where people are so inconsiderate. And they're purposely inconsiderate. Mm-hmm. There were these guys who were 6'3", Amazon giants.
Vikings.
pushing their way to the front in front of 5 foot me. And just like obvious, like that's where it gets kind of like a bully, you know, where they're like, oh, what is she gonna say? And Sev's so like chill. He's not gonna like start problems, but I'm not so chill. And so I straight up told like the first guy that went in front of me, I was like, you're like 8 feet tall. And he was like, I'm sorry, it's my mom's fault. And I was like, can I, like, I had a perfect window. Can you please move? Like,
yeah.
And so
Did
he moved. Then his friend went over there and he was trying to get his friend to go back up. And the guy told him, no, she already said something. And the guy was like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. And I was like, this motherfucker, dude. And so it like as some people would leave to go get their drinks and stuff. So we would get a little bit closer. So then like I ended up passing him. But then I had like my arm because I was like, I could hear him talking to his group of friends saying that he was like, at the perfect moment, we're going to just, and I was like, well, so I had my hand like this and I was like, fucking do it. I dare you because I'm going to sock you. Like, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's so
not allowed.
Rude.
Mm-hmm.
It's so rude. And I got like stepped on and all kinds of stuff. But so if I could go back in time.
Okay. You would sock him.
No. If I go back in time, I think maybe just to make like Sev feel more comfortable too, I wouldn't have tried to be so close to the front. Mm-hmm. Because if we would have went further back, they did have like the stage risen in the middle of the whole venue. So we could have probably like I could have still seen everything.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have been
so close.
Like I could see his eyes. Like
love it.
Yeah, he had like white contacts on.
Okay.
It was so crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, it was so cool. And so, I mean, I enjoyed it. I wish I had video of it because that's how you remember things now.
Yeah, but it's like, have you heard that study they did? And they're like, the more times that you watch a video back, or that you look back at pictures, it literally impacts your memory.
How?
I don't know. I forgot.
Well, impact away because I want to remember.
It just does, okay?
Yeah, well, because even like when we went to Dashboard, I still look at those videos so that way, because otherwise, I mean, I remember being there. Yeah. I remember vaguely. Mm-hmm. But when I watch the video, I'm like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I know.
And so, yeah.
But anyway, that's why they tell you don't record. Because somehow if you're the person recording and watching, it impacts your memory of the event. Somehow. I'm serious.
I don't know. I prefer it still.
Here, I'll do it.
Well, so I remember their outfit changes. I remember certain dance moves that their dancers did. But I don't remember like to what songs they were. You know what I mean? And I would have that and I would know exactly. But
do you ever test your memory like for fun?
How?
I don't know, like once in a while. I don't do this like anymore. But I used to be like, what did you wear every single day for the past week? Like to myself.
That's hard.
And then I'd be like, okay, yesterday was the purple top and the black pants.
Well, I do it on the pod. Like I haven't outfit repeated yet. And I don't plan to.
I think I did with this black
I think
dress,
you did too.
right?
But it's black, so it could just be a black shirt. It could be...
I'm not an outfit repeater.
Yeah.
I'm not. I know.
I am. Outfit repeater, album repeater, all the repeaters, okay? But you won't see it.
And we did say, we're like, listen.
No, my daughter even called me out on it at the concert.
Really?
She was like, can I see what you're wearing and stuff? And so I showed her and she's like, why do you always wear that? And I was like,
kids.
I have a uniform, okay?
I was going to ask you, are those the pants you were going to wear?
Yes.
For the photo shoot?
Uh-huh. Nice. Machitas or leopards. I don't know. I never know which one it is.
I don't know.
I don't know, but they're cute.
They are very cute.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, those are the pants.
Yeah, they made an appearance.
Love it.
And, like, tube tops are, like, my thing. Like, that's legit my uniform. It's been that way since forever. And it's funny because a friend of mine had commented on it one time. And he was like, yeah. Oh, he said that he saw my doppelganger at a grocery store or something. And he was like, she even wore a tube top like you always do. And I was all... Then I was telling Cassie that, like, it's easy to feel insignificant in the world. And, like, people don't really give a shit about you and your existence.
Yeah.
But when he said that, I was like, oh, some people really do pay attention and care.
You know, I think a lot of people do pay attention and people watch. People just don't communicate. They don't.
Please communicate.
Because
you never know how insignificant someone can feel because you're not. And how a day can be made when you do.
I don't know if it's true. It really is 100% true. If it's...
Because even, remember we had a meeting at the coffee shop and I ran into that guy? And he was like, hey, and he had said, like, and even that, I was like, wow, like, people are paying attention, I guess. And it feels good.
I feel like it's kind of not a lost art, but it's like since the pandemic, people are so
maybe that is what it is.
Like to themselves, and people just aren't as open, and people don't share things. And also I don't know if it's partially me like getting older, but I'm so big now recently. Or maybe it's because I've lost friends now in my early 30s.
And especially this year, so many people are going to suicide. I've noticed, like, even just in the last couple months, I have seen at least 6 people who have committed suicide. And it's just like, and everybody's always like, oh, I was here, like, and I know they always say, like, reach out to your people and really let them know. But I think a lot of people do hurt in silence. And you have zero clue. But you never know how even the smallest thing can impact someone's day in a positive way. And I think that's why I really do try to give all the love all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that was heavy. Sorry.
I don't know how you segued like that.
Didn't mean to take a heavy turn.
No, it's true. I think the bottom line, and people say it all the time, it's just be kind. Be kind, and I think, give people their flowers.
All the time.
Give people their flowers.
Even about little things. Like anything. That's why I really do.
Like, don't wait for someone to be gone to give them their flowers.
No. And that's how, unfortunately, that's how our society has gotten. And it's really sad. And I just hope, I hope this doesn't make people feel guilty if your friends have passed and stuff. I just hope that it prevents that from... I just think, like, the world is love and it needs more love all the time in every form.
Well, yeah, and I think the world is just heavy right now. There's so many things going on, outside of the United States.
Just I just think life is heavy as a grown-up. Yeah.
But now, it's crazy. It's like there's wars going on. Like you say, like, people are lonely. There's just so much going on, and a lot of it is bad. A lot of it is dark. A lot of it is, and people don't,
And I think even when you are, for me anyways, I think maybe because I am such an introvert, when I do put myself in social situations, it could be like so mentally draining. And like after I put myself in that situation, I go home and I just like replay it all and stuff. And so it's like, I'm sure people even if you are in crowds and stuff and people are like, oh, they were social, I don't know how they were lonely. Like, they probably went home and fucking thought about all these things and how they might have got misconstrued about certain things, and
right,
and it eats at you, and it's your own mind doing it, but
right,
it's
yeah.
So we did get really deep, and I didn't mean to at
thing,
all.
It's okay. I'm all good thing this isn't live.
Yeah. Yeah. But on a lighter note.
I know. I was like, where were you?
Yeah. So my trip was really nice, and it was nice to get away.
You haven't
and have
said
a
where
reset.
you went.
I went to California.
What part of California?
We went to LA. I love California, and it's funny because some of my family makes fun of me because I go to California all the time. Like, I go at least once a year, and I'm like, I love it there. It's my home away from home.
Well, and it's like it's a nice trip. It's like anyone else. Like, you go to Vegas, you go to like Arizona. Like,
I love the ocean.
It's doable.
California's beautiful. It's affordable. But also, so my dad is from California.
Oh,
He was
okay.
born and raised there.
Nice.
So
What part of California?
East LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's funny because I used to give my grandma so much shit because I was like, why the fuck did you move here? I could have been in California. Like,
Dang. What did she say?
But no, finally the story came out that this gang was like trying to recruit my uncle, who's like the oldest boy in the family because my dad's one of 9.
Okay.
And they were like trying it, and he was like an athlete, like kind of preppy type.
Okay.
And I guess they were messing with him, and my grandpa was like a real bad alcoholic, and so he got word of it, and he went and like confronted them.
Oh.
And they like beat the shit out of him. And he had told them my cousin's name, and so they were gonna, I mean my uncle, not my cousin. And so then they were gonna be like, they were like, oh, okay, and they were gonna like
Right.
be after him.
Right.
So my grandma packed up and moved
like, "Let's go."
everyone.
Yeah.
My aunt
Wow.
Nora lived here, so she came to live with her sister.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, I guess my Uncle Anthony, it was him.
Shut up. Not your Uncle Anthony.
So my Theo
That's funny.
was our boss.
It's not funny.
Yeah, that was our boss at the community center.
Yeah.
And so she knows him. Yeah. So he's the reason
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not a California girl.
Dude, that's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
So now, like, when I go there, I'm just like, I don't know. Every time I've ever been there, it just feels like home. It's weird. And,
No, I know.
And I wonder if that's why, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
No, sometimes people have ties and, like, you don't know why.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really do. It's so weird. I don't know how to explain it.
Did you, I don't know if I sent you that TikTok. I don't think I did. But talking about that, there was a TikTok of a girl, and I really don't remember the story because it's very, like, convoluted, but it was something like she was studying abroad in one place, and then somehow she makes friends with, like she made a friend, and then that friend was like, oh my gosh, like, you should go here. So then she did, and then she's like, I have a friend that you'd get along with. So then she does. So then something like that. So basically she goes from place to place, and then she ends up meeting her significant other, right? And then he's like, let's go to, I don't know, let's say Ireland. I forgot what country it was. But she's already overseas. Like, she starts in, like, Spain, or she starts in one country, ends up in another country. But she's like, I could not, like, get over why I felt so connected, right? And so to that particular country, like, let's say it was Ireland, for example. So then she's like, and they're like, no, it's, you know, it's beautiful, like, you just love it, whatever. So then the boyfriend is like, hey, I have, like, this super old family estate. like, we should move in over there. Like, let's just live there. Well, anyway, I'll have to find the TikTok and send it to you.
Tell me they end up being cousins or something.
I know, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
No, so somehow on that estate, there's like a mini cemetery or like a mini family plot or something. And then she finds out, this is like a few years later, like they're there, like they fix it up,
They're married
they're
by
living
that
there,
time, probably.
whatever. Yeah, that those are her ancestors. That one of her original ancestors is the one that had bought that plot of land. And then, you know, like they passed away and then it exchanged hands and then it ended up in that guy's
soul
family.
ties.
Something like
they
that.
say.
Yeah.
Even it's in the Bible even, like,
Yeah.
I know, I always bring it up.
No,
But they say there's like generational soul ties.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
wasn't a
thing.
great story, but like,
Yeah.
you know, I'll send you the TikTok.
Yeah.
But that's what it reminded me of because she was like,
We can post it on our
literally-
story.
Yeah, because literally she's like, if I hadn't been studying abroad and had been with that one friend who recommended me to go to that place, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. But then she's like, but I have a friend there, so like you'll be okay, like just go with them. And then from there she met her, right? Like
Yeah.
if everything hadn't lined up the way
Just
it
fell
did,
into place.
she never ever would have gone back because
It's
she'd
all
never
part
been.
of a plan. Yeah.
Prior to that, she'd never been to that country. She just knew
That's weird, huh?
that, you know, she did have some ancestors that were from
That's
there.
something I've always
Yeah.
wanted to do, was like go to Spain and go to like where your family crest and stuff is.
Me too.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Although,
What?
so Seb's family is like legit Spaniards from like the Gallegoses. And it's crazy because they have like a ranch in Villanueva. And there's all these plaques that say like Gallegos, and they have like conquistadors on them and stuff. And
yeah.
it's crazy. And so he knows that he's like, his bloodline is true or whatever, you know?
He's all, I'm a pure blood.
Yeah. And so he's like looked into it and stuff. And so I started dabbling, just looking into a little bit of Maldonado because that's my maiden name. And it was not good.
Oh, no.
It said like that Maldonado means like stupid and ugly or something.
No.
I died. I told my dad, and he's like, yeah, somebody told me that before or whatever. It's stupid. And I was like, because I had told him, it was like right before I was getting married. I was like, can't wait to change my name.
Yeah.
And he was like, whatever. But yeah, it has a funny history.
No. I'm going to go look it up now.
Yeah, now you're going to have to look up Hernandez and Munoz.
I will. I will. Well, I know Munoz a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I know on my maternal grandfather's from Spain.
Okay.
So my mom's dad. And she knows because my Aunt Terry had done Ancestry.com. And so, like, she's mapped it. And I got to reach out to her because she has a lot of the information. I have no idea. But, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Seb's
do wanna
uncle
go to
got a lot
Spain.
of it. And it's funny because I think there's been two of the Gallegoses that aren't that distant got struck by lightning. So now every time it rains, Seb always tells Sebastian, like, watch out, we get struck by lightning. Yeah, it's funny.
How crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like
I
a
wanna go.
coincidence, obviously,
For
but
sure.
still.
I want to go to Spain, period. But,
Ugh.
like,
It looks so beautiful, insane. So while on my trip, we got to...
oh, so wait for me. I'm going to put my headphones on.
Can your ears still not work?
No. I'm all, wait, don't go back to the broadcast yet.
Yeah,
Hold
sorry.
on. Okay,
Action.
anyway, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
While I was on my trip, we went to... So I've mentioned that I'm a huge OC fan, and I got my husband to watch it. And so when we were on the beach the day prior, we were trying to plan our next day and what we wanted to do. And he was like, I really want to go eat somewhere. And I was like, you know where we should go? And he nerded out with me, and I loved it. I
That's
love
so
him so much
cute.
more for it. But I was like, we should go to the diner from the OC.
I love that.
And he was like, look it up. Where is it? How far is it? And so we looked it up, and it was like a 20-minute drive. And so we went, loved it. And it was so cool because, so not only is that diner in almost every episode, but that whole pier they shot so much. They had the bait shop where all the concerts were, and it's not there anymore. They knocked it down. But the pier is there, and that's like, it was funny because when we were eating at the diner, there were people in the booths next to us that were eating there as fans as well, and I would like catch little things they were saying. And so as they were leaving, the waitress asked them like, how did you hear about this? Are you OC fans? And they were like, yeah. And as they were leaving, he was like, let's go to the bench where he'd had all his crash outs.
Oh.
So we were watching them and stuff, and we were like, which bench is it?
The crash out bench?
Yeah, the crash out bench.
That's hilarious. I love that.
But yeah, there's so many scenes, and so I started rewatching it again because I fangirled out so hard. I was like giddy.
It's really neat to be in places like that, like places that have such a history and like a marked history, because you're just like, dang, like I'm breathing the same air. Like
I've sat right here.
I've stepped where they stepped. You know, yeah.
No, it was
for sure. I get it.
I fangirled so hard.
I love that.
Seb was like, he kept like kind of giggling at me because he was like, you're really happy, and I was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, our trip was for the concert, and the concert was amazing. Like, seeing them live was amazing. Super cool experience that I can check off. But going to that diner,
I love that.
I kind of think it out.
You should have been like, propose to me again, but right here.
Right? Let's get married on this pier, and
Just
we'll have a reception in there.
Do it for fake so everyone can.
No, all I could hear in the background was like,
I love that.
Yeah.
Did you take like videos of you guys?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, but it was so like I said, I think I fell a little bit more in love with him that day because
I love those moments.
Yeah, he ordered coffee and toast in the beginning, and which is what Seth orders. Okay. And in the show, Seth he says like, this is the best coffee in Newport, even though they're not in Newport. It's in Redondo Beach.
Right.
But so he took a picture and he posted it and said, this is the best coffee in Newport, with like a wink face, and I was like, oh, I love you for being a nerd with me.
How cute.
Yeah. So
what else did you guys do?
That was my favorite. We're like beach goers.
Good.
So
it was a lot of rest and relaxation.
Yeah.
Good.
We did that and just kind of roamed the streets.
Yeah. Like a good reset. Because you didn't have your kids with you.
No.
And that's a huge difference. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's night and day, and it never feels long enough. Which sounds awful, but
I'm sure.
I kind of couldn't get away. Like, I couldn't wait to get home because my puppy that I've been like bragging about, Lolita, got sick right before we left. And so we took her to the vet like the morning right before we caught our flight. And so she was like on antibiotics and stuff, which she was fine. But
well, what was it?
It was like just a GI thing.
Oh, okay.
And so they gave her.
So she's better?
Yeah, she just had a tummy ache, basically.
Que la chingada.
I know.
And then you get a $700 vet bill.
It actually wasn't bad.
Good.
So, yeah, if anybody needs to go to a vet, I highly recommend Real Bravo Vet.
Okay.
Because it was super vulnerable. They're super sweet there. They even called the next day, and they were like, how is she doing, and all this stuff. And I was like, my goodness, because when I had got her shots, I went somewhere else, and it was a horrible experience. Do not recommend. So, Real Bravo is the place to go.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Other recent things that have happened was we got a new pope.
We did.
And Cassie knows more about this than I've just seen clips here and there.
Oh my gosh, I do. Do we have time to talk about the pope?
Just a quick little dabble.
Sure. Let's sprinkle it in.
Okay.
I don't know what to say.
His name is what, Leo?
So he chose the name Leo. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's from Chicago.
Which is so cool. He's the first American pope.
And the first American pope. Dude, I literally cried.
Did you? Mm-hmm. I love that.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like a true Catholic. It's like,
no, that's super sweet. Yeah, those roots are going deep.
Yeah, we were on our way to lunch, and so I had it was like I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a core memory for me. It's so weird.
I was out of town at the time, and when I got into California, I saw the news, and I was like, oh, I told Seb.
Yeah.
And then that's when I text you.
Yeah.
I was like, first American? What?
Dude, I know. It was wild. So I was at work, and I was watching. I mean, I was totally tuned into the conclave. And I was like, dang, okay. And then, of course, the big deal was that morning, right away, basically. They were like, okay, here's the white smoke. You know,
that's right.
The new pope has been chosen. I was like,
it wasn't
done.
Scotty.
Like, yeah.
Sorry. I had to do it.
I was all wet.
If you know, you know.
Terrible.
Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me
do it in my van every Sunday.
Anyway. That's cute. I don't think I remember much more than that, although I knew that song from, like...
So she's at church, but she doesn't go, but she's still on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know. I forgot the rest.
Yeah, but so Scotty was not the Pope. It was Pope Leo.
It was Pope Leo. I know. It was cute. But yeah, so I was like live streaming it, totally tuned in. Then it was lunchtime.
I love that he's from Chicago. He's he's like the real G Pope.
He eats glizzies.
Love it.
Yeah.
No, I'm
so
for that.
So it's exciting.
It makes me more interested.
No, I'm excited to see like all the things he does and says and But yeah, I was literally like walking to Becca's car because Becca usually drives, and she's not Catholic, she's Christian, and so she, we were talking about it and stuff, and I'm there like literally walking through the parking lot, like watching it, and I was all,
you're educating us all.
I know. I was like, oh my god, yeah. And then, like, just all the chats were blowing up. Like, the family chat. It was crazy.
No, it was a massive thing.
There were, like, 70,000 people in St. Peter's Square. Like, just to see, you know, when the smoke
I saw some videos.
They said it was, like, 70,000 people.
That's so crazy.
Which, I mean, literally it was people just going, hanging out, praying.
I wonder, like, being there, well, like, I'm sure it has to be like an overwhelming feeling watching it all, like witnessing it firsthand.
Yeah. Because it's a historical event. Even
massive.
More historical because of the fact that he's American. Because it's not just like, oh my gosh, I happened to be there when they elected the new pope, which in and of itself is like huge. But then to be there because they've never ever chosen an American pope. So it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. No,
I think when I went to Taylor Swift, what was her audience? I think it was like 67,000, 65,000. But yeah, it's something that you cannot wrap your brain around until you're there. And like just to feel that collective energy with that many people. That's all I could think back to. You know, I was like, what are those people feeling? Specifically, you know,
well, I almost cry at church every Sunday, so really? I can't. That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine like to be there witnessing all of that. Like, yeah. I think like when you are close to God, like you have an emotional response.
No, you definitely do. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of felt silly at first, and I was like, no, why do I feel silly? Like, it's a moment.
No, it's beautiful,
and it is beautiful.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah. But I was like, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
An American, because, you know, usually they're Italian, the majority of the popes.
Yeah, because they're all, like, from the Vatican.
Except maybe, like, the last three, you know, but...
It's getting progressive. Interesting.
They're branching out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I was telling Cassie, I put Cassie on the DJ Priest... Padre.
Oh, Guillermo. Padre Guillermin.
Yes.
How do you say it?
I don't know. You would know better than me.
Yeah.
But he is so cool. And I was telling her that, like, during the conclave, a lot of the EDM artists that we follow, they were, like, posting him. And he's a legit father, a priest. And
I love that.
He DJs a bunch of, like, gospel music. And it's so cool. And he recently just did like a performance in front of, I forget what it's called.
The Redeemer
actual
statue?
Name. Yes, in Brazil. And I was like, my goodness, which is a seventh wonder of the world. And so I'm like, how DJs have a cool thing because they can just perform anywhere. They perform in front of the pyramids. They perform
you know what's crazy is to think like the level of control and the impact that they have on audiences. But I mean, it's like Lady Gaga or, you know, anyone who's that, like a mega star. What else do you do? Like, in terms of you go and you have an incredible set and you play for like thousands or like hundreds or millions of people. And then can you imagine like the high after? Like, I can't imagine what other feeling like comes close. You know, like that
also
you're doing.
the fear before.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's why I think like a lot of celebrities get kind of weird because of like stuff like that. Like it's like I want to almost compare it to what they say like when you go out in space and see like Earth from there and then like they have like a whole
like a
different aspect,
not like an existential crisis, but like
kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of exactly what it's called, but it's like a real thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like
that's where my mind goes because I'm like, my God, like, I don't know, did you see that clip of Gaga when she was performing on the beach in Brazil? And it's crazy because Gaga's been out for what, like, God, almost 20 years or something now at this rate.
Pretty close for sure.
Yeah. But there's a clip of Gaga because she performed to, like, I think it was 2 million people that showed up on the beach.
My goodness.
And they were like, she broke Madonna's record.
Wow.
And it was like her. Like, it wasn't Coachella. It wasn't Lollapalooza. It was literally just Gaga. And so anyway, there's a moment. I'll send it to you. And they were like, you can literally tell in her reaction that is her, like, I made it moment. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you know, I'm sure
I'm sure it just like she gives herself bigger and bigger goals, you know, because she's like, oh, well, I did that already, but
she has such a visceral reaction to, like, you know, she's staring at the crowd, and because she's done singing and she's kind of just there and she's like sweaty and she's breathing, but she's like really like present and taking it in, and all of her dancers are like,
that's so wild.
Oh my God. And I was like, what do you do after that? Like, I literally it just boggles the mind. It does.
You retire.
You're like, you know what, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, I think that's why a lot of them do drugs. Because you're seeking that, like, level of high, like that high. Or something that makes you feel like that good to where.
Well, I do know that's a big reason why I am grateful that we've gone to the concerts that we've gone to this year, because my husband doesn't like to go to concerts because he used to play those stages. Yeah. And it makes him sad. Yeah. Because I think he remembers. I don't know if he even wants me to talk about this, but he. Yeah. I see it in him. He's like, that was me. Like, yeah. And he knows. And I think that's what it is. I think he knows what they're feeling. And to be on the other side of it is probably a little weird.
For sure. And I think it was just like you see it in the athletes too. You know, like LeBron is 40 and people are like, he hasn't let it go. And so, you know, and that's his thing and that's what he wants to do. But you can't, unfortunately, do it forever. It's the same thing with Tom Brady, you know.
I'm proud of him for finally retiring. But and at least he's still like doing the commentating. And so that way he's still in the... Yeah. I don't know. In the business.
In the sphere. He's like in the... Yeah, for sure. But it's not the same.
No, I'm sure it's not.
No, it's not.
And I know a lot of people have issue with his commentating, and I think he's really good, but...
I don't know whether it's...
I think he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he will tell you, like, from a quarterback's perspective and, like, things that you wouldn't even normally think about that they are thinking on the field and stuff. So that's why I really appreciate him as one.
I think and it is. I think it's just, I imagine it would be really difficult to excel in a career like that where
that's
you
how
don't.
Pope Leo felt.
Yeah. where you don't have a lot of longevity. You know, if you're going to be a singer or an actress or an athlete, or there's not a lot of longevity in those fields. So you have to accept, like, I have a very specific window
Unless
of
you're
time.
Barry Manilow.
Exactly. Like, so much, but even then, you're like, a la verga, Mick Jagger is still up there, like, being a rock star. Holy fuck, like,
settled it down.
Yeah. But you can't let it go.
The only one is Santana. He can go forever.
No, because he's been sick. You saw he got hospitalized.
Yes.
Yeah. But kudos to them.
Yeah.
Because imagine you're all 80-something years old up there on stage, just like
breaking a hip,
doing your thing. Yeah.
I would be a cool grandma.
You probably would. You probably
doing
would.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like their grandkids. It's probably their great grandkids. They're probably like,
hell yeah.
That's my grandpa up there.
Let me show you how it's done. Let me show you how it's done. Right? No, don't do it. I'm holding back. We haven't added to the dance, but we will. Yet. We will. I love that.
Well,
anyway.
On that note, we're going to wrap this up.
And stay tuned for the next, what would you call it? The next step for our little dance.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Thanks, guys, for listening in. We appreciate you.
See you later.
Bye.